So today I'll be talking about the subjectivism in the media. So the research question I'll be answering today is, does today's media give subjective perceptions of the world? My argument is yes. In today's society, people are influenced to believe certain views that are provided by the media, making people lack the knowledge of other viewpoints on the topic. So before I get onto anything else, I want to pose a question to the audience. So have you ever considered putting yourself in the mind of someone who may have opposing arguments or perspectives, and maybe think of why they think they're correct, or maybe understand their perspective? Maybe not. And this is exactly what the media is trying to do. The media is trying to perceive this one lens or perspective society, which doesn't allow people to understand other perspectives of certain subjects. So, connecting to the stimulus source, and the historian as a participant, before World War II, historians wouldn't be able to include personal stories or encounters during historical events. And this was because they wanted to create this objective viewpoint of history. But this creates this lack of historical context that people can use in order to understand the event. In the attitude towards Muslim women in the West, we see how after 9/11, Muslims were blamed for the act of terrorism and have had to take responsibility for it. And this has created this label towards Muslims that they are terrorists, which is not true. And so the first aspect of subjectivism in the media is the impacts on the culture. So ethnocentrism, which is the idea that one person uses their own views or beliefs to evaluate a certain culture, is what media uses today. So media can use this to their advantage so that they can perceive certain situation in a way to influence people. And so we can see this by the subject of terrorism in our society. Terrorism is sadly associated with Muslims in our society today. And this creates this fear within our society because people use the media as a source of information. So we are bound to believe what the media has to tell us. And so this creates this notion of the media literally portraying Muslims as these terrorists and people who advocate for war. Next aspect is the political advantage subjectivism can have on media people. And so in the presidential election of 2016, we saw how the Russian hacking created these fallacies against Hillary and created these viewpoints on Trump, targeting different communities across the US. And so this allowed for more attention for Trump. The subjective news allowed for him to gain and get more attention towards his campaign. The final aspect of subjectivism is the social propaganda that has occurred throughout our history. So a key example is during the Third Reich, or the time of the Nazi period. And during this time, there was this false impression that was created by the Germans towards the Jews. So they used propaganda such as this, stating, he is guilty for the war. So they wanted to advocate the idea that the Jews were the reason for their economic depression, and that this gave consent for the Germans to take violent actions against the Jews, which in turn caused for the Holocaust. And a modern example in today's society is North Korea and how they perceive the US. So they teach their children how violent and malicious the US is. And so they use this to create propaganda such as this, saying death to invaders, to propagate that the US is this terrible society and terrible country that is used just for destruction. So some solutions to subjectivity in the media is, first of all, to regulate media news. So this will take care of any type of fake news or fallacies that are spread across the society today. Second is to have a sense of skepticism. And this is more on a personal note, and this is for people to be aware that there is fake news in our media today. Third is to penalize news outlets that advocate for false information. So this will not only punish those types of medias, but also create awareness of the need to regulate media news. And last is to introduce new perspectives towards certain subjects. So this allows people to understand different perspectives in order to analyze a certain topic or subject and make decisions for themselves, and not have the media select what they need to believe in. So some limitations is, first of all, there are non-negotiable people in our society today because they have this hard-headed attitude towards some people. So they'll never change or understand what others have to say about certain things. So that's the first limitation. The second one is the First Amendment. This states the freedom of press and freedom of speech, which allows medias to talk about, create their own perspective on certain topics, and gives them the freedom to do whatever they want and show and have people perceive the way they want to show the topic. And lastly, it's difficult to keep track with the media. For example, Twitter. There are tweets coming around globally 24/7, so it would be hard to regulate each single tweet regarding a certain situation. And that's my presentation.
All right. So I have a couple questions. How did you handle the differing perspectives in order to reach a conclusion?
So first of all, I want to focus on the two articles, Historian as a Participant and The Muslim Woman. So using those, I want to create what central idea was coming from that. So I want to take on perspectives that effectively presented the idea of subjectivism. So I used the cultural aspect, historical aspect, and political aspect in order to effectively show how subjectivism in the media is occurring today.
Okay. My second question is, if you had more time, what additional research would you conduct related to this issue?
Could you repeat that?
If you had more time, what additional research would you conduct related to this issue?
All right, so I would conduct research on the effect on children and how media tends to affect how children think of certain things. And so maybe look for studies of how media can psychologically or maybe mentally affect children. So,
Okay. Thank you very much.